Have you ever stopped to think about the sacrifices our parents made when they left the Philippines? The night they worked, the racism they faced, the loneliness of living in a country that didn't always welcome them. And now here we are, their children, trying to honor those sacrifices while raising kids of our own in a completely different world. Hi, I'm Lanie, a lawyer, entrepreneur, and mum here in the UK. Like many of you, I'm part of what they call the sandwich generation, caught in between caring for our parents and providing for our children while trying to figure out our own future. In this video, I want to share my story, the lessons I've learned, and hopefully spark a conversation about how we can empower ourselves and leave a stronger legacy for our children and our children's children. My story begins in the 1970s. My mother was one of the many Filipino nurses who came to the UK during that time. Like so many of her generation, she left behind everything she knew in the Philippines to work hard in a foreign land. My father, meanwhile, worked on foreign ships as a seaman, as they call it back home. He travelled the world until the early 1980s, when he finally joined my mum here in the UK. Their lives were built on sacrifice, working long hours, sending money home, saving what little they could. I was actually born here in the UK, but when I was 2.5 years old, they brought me to the Philippines to be raised by family. I grew up there until I was 11 years old, which means I know both worlds very well. I can speak Tagalog fluently and I understand the way of life back home, but I also know the struggles of growing up as a Filipino child in Britain. When I came back to the UK, I studied hard, built my career and created a life for myself and my family. And now my parents are retired. They've long returned to the Philippines, like many in their generation. But here's what I realized. My parents' lives were always in survival mode. They worked, they sacrificed, they endured discrimination and hardship, but they didn't always have the luxury of planning for retirement, building businesses, or thinking long term. And now it's us, their children, who must carry both their sacrifices and their unfinished work. This is where the term sandwich generation comes in. We are squeezed in the middle, supporting our parents who may or may not have pensions, savings, or adequate healthcare. And at the same time, we are also raising our children who are growing up in a completely different world with privileges our parents could never imagine. All of this while also trying to manage our own finances, careers, and futures. It's heavy, isn't it? On top of that, we carry cultural expectations. In Filipino culture, utang na loob, the debt of gratitude, is powerful. We are taught to care for our parents no matter what. But here in the West, the culture is different. Independence, financial planning, retirement systems. And so we find ourselves torn. Do we follow the path of duty and sacrifice? Or do we forge a new way forward, one that honors our parents but doesn't repeat their mistakes? Let me ask you, did your parents plan for retirement? How much of that responsibility has fallen on your shoulders? And do you ever feel like you're torn between helping your parents and preparing your kids for the future? I'd love to hear your answers in the comments because this is not just my story, it's our shared story. So, how do we move forward? How do we honor the sacrifices of our parents without carrying the same burdens into the next generation? Here are some lessons I've learned. 1. Empower ourselves financially. Our parents worked hard, but many didn't have the knowledge or tools to build wealth. We can change that. We can learn about investments, pensions, property, and side hustles. We don't just work for money. We must make money work for us. 2. Plan for retirement early. Many in our parents' generation went back to the Philippines without savings or long-term health plans. We need to break that cycle by making retirement a priority now. so we don't pass the same struggles to our kids. 3. Raise empowered children. Our kids will never fully understand the racism, the discrimination, the survival mode our parents lived through. But we can teach them money skills, resilience, and pride in being Filipino. We can give them the confidence our parents didn't always have in foreign lands. 4. Build strength in community. Unlike our parents who often faced isolation, we now have communities, networks, and technology. We don't have to do this alone. We can learn from each other, share resources, and uplift one another. When I look at the bigger picture, I see something powerful. Our parents fought battles some of us will hopefully no longer have to fight. Racism, discrimination, loneliness, building lives from scratch. Our children will never truly know those realities, but what they will inherit depends on what we do now. Each generation builds from the last. Our parents built for survival. We must build for security. Our children can build prosperity, and their children can build legacy. That is the true meaning of generational progress. So, here's my question for you. What do you wish your parents had done differently? And how are you doing things differently for your own children? Because if we start sharing our answers, we start creating a roadmap for the next generation. We are the bridge generation, and bridges are not meant to collapse under the weight. They are meant to connect. If we choose wisely, that bridge won't just connect our parents' sacrifices to our children's future. It will carry us all forward, stronger than ever. So let's continue this conversation. Share your stories in the comments. What has been your biggest challenge as part of the sandwich generation? Don't forget to subscribe if you want to join this community of Filipinos abroad, because together we can move from survival to security, from sacrifice to legacy. Thank you for spending your time with me. Until next time, let's keep building.